I think the first, the real answer is like, look, what's not cool about all that stuff? I mean, so we just have made. I think we've been trying to make movies that are so far that are things that we are interested in and that we think are cool, and it happens to have a broad spectrum. Although I would say that zombie movies and what else? Comic book adaptations. That's not like a crazy jump there. Animated owl film. Okay, I'll give you that one.
You're allowed to one off.
That's just exactly. But it's animated, so there's sort of a whole maybe relationship. How's that? No answer. Non-answer. Well, I don't look at it that way. I'm not trying to, I'm like, oh, I'm going to top myself.
In Australia, top yourself means commit suicide.
Oh, great. If I don't do good, I will top myself. See, this is what happens with an international crowd. Have you seen that t-shirt? Look, I'll show you your t-shirt. It's awesome. Have you ever seen that t-shirt? It's all the spoilers.
Oh, that's awesome.
Don't look. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's all the spoilers.
Here's a question for Vanessa.
Yeah.
You had a lot of success very early on with Disney. Is that a tough legacy to get out of, though, as you get older and doing kind of edgier pictures like this? Is that a big albatross?
I mean, it was kind of a challenge for a second, just because I feel like a lot of people could only see me as the girl that randomly broke into song and dance. But, I heard about this movie, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever. I mean, as it is, kind of. I auditioned for it several times, and I think just as long as I try to put the work in, hopefully people will give me a chance, and once they see me in this, I won't be the little show tune girl.
Yeah, but to her credit, I mean, every young actor that starts out has something to break out of as they get older.
Yeah,
whether it's Disney, whether it's this, whether it's that. So, I feel like it's you could ask any actor that question and they'd have this.
All right, Scott?
Starting with Vanessa, you danced before, but what kind of different discipline did you have to master specifically, and was it hard? And then maybe everybody else can talk about the dance and performance demands that you all had too.
Well, I enjoy it. I love it. I grew up dancing. I spent like 6 years of my life just in the dance studio, going every single day. And as I grew up, I started to move around and then stopped dancing. And dance studios in LA are just so intimidating, so I haven't gotten back to it. And once I found out that we were going to be able to do a little bit in this movie, I was so excited. And I get to do more of a themed dance in this. And it's just so much fun, and because it is very theatrical, it gives you room to play and just really make it your own. I had a great time.
Zack, the 300 is mostly an all-male cast, whereas all female, mostly female cast. Can you talk about that difference?
Yeah, I felt it was important never to have only one gender in a movie and to sort of hopscotch genders if it was possible. No, I'm kidding. It really just worked out that this story happened to be about these girls, and so it wasn't anything, that I was like, oh, I've been around men too much. I need to make a movie with women in it.
300 had some kick-ass women too.
It did. Yeah, absolutely. The one.
And we've got some kick-ass women, so
Yeah, that character was based off one frame in Frank's graphic novel, but that's okay. Some things are based off one frame.
Ladies, you're here at Comic-Con. You guys have any here that you love, any comics or computers or any technology?
I love my iPhone. Quiet.
They all came from a farm.
I want to steal Zack's iPad. I don't have one yet, so I've been trying to get it out of his hands. Especially, you can get service all over the place, and the computers and the phones aren't working too well here because I think everybody's on them. But he seems to have good luck. I'm going to steal his.
No.
I'm fond of the occasional video game, every now and again.
Casual
Very specific,
video game.
yeah. But like, oh, like kind of really not very cool video games like Mario Kart, those sort of things.
I want to find the Call of Duty Black Ops. I think they're showing a little bit here, and I love that game.
That is a good game.
Your stock just went up so much here, Vanessa. I was just like, oh my god, she's amazing.
Right, next question now. Zack, you're known for such striking visuals and effects in the movie. Can you talk a little bit about what your thought is in this movie, what you were looking for in terms of the tone and the theme and what you did here in the production side?
You know, it's we try and just make. I know it seems weird, but we really endeavor to just try and make good-looking shots all the time, and it's not just in an action sequence or we really just endeavor to try and do it all the time, and so that influences production design and influences everything. For me, I tend to go for maybe things that are slightly exaggerated, but only because I think that movies are a visual experience, and I tend to like it all the way, all the time. So it's I think that influences pretty much all the movie all the way across. I think that every aspect of the film we tried to do something that was striking, and so I think that's kind of how I had the experience of watching the movie.
What's the most major used the cast or the costume? I know it's singing dancing as well, but do you guys also hang out sometime?
Well, I see Zack a lot. The other Zack. But I think just not having as much responsibilities. I feel like High School Musical was really a part of my childhood, and as soon as it finished, I was like, okay, it's time to grow up and start to figure things out. So probably just having less responsibility. But I'm enjoying growing up and gotten to be able to do this, which has made me grow a lot as well.
Next question,
Carla, you worked with Zack out twice with the last movie. Was this something that he just called you up and asked you if you wanted to be a part of this, or did you read the script, or what was the process of working with him again? Was it like wanting to do that, or was it the script that you liked?
Well, I would want to, once you work with him, you want to work with him again for sure. So Watchmen was such a great experience, and both Zack and Debbie create this environment where they have, every single person in every department is at the top of their game, and so everyone is there. It's like game on. Like there's nobody there punching a time card. Everyone is amazing, and we have this great leader of the ship, and then you have this really collaborative effort that comes together. And so I don't know. I think I got a call saying that you had this role that you thought that I could do, and then we sat down and talked about it and got really excited about what she could become, and in terms of being able to work get together again, I think what was cool for all of us is that then it's really shorthand. So you have this sort of like that creatively you're on the same page, and for me it's fun because I get to try things that might fail miserably, and I know that he won't kick me off the set. He'll just let me be like, maybe that one doesn't work, let's try something else, and that's the way you always find really good stuff. So
It's impossible.
You filmed a lot of impressive shots in 2D. Why not 3D?
Oh, for this movie?
Yes.
When we started talking about making it, I had a certain idea about how I wanted to move the camera, and I sort of had a certain idea about how I wanted the film to feel. And though I am a fan of 3D, I'm making Legends Assault was 3D, conceived in 3D, and is, if anyone's seen it, the 3D I think is pretty freaking awesome, if I say so myself. But just for this, and we after we finished shooting, we talked about it, and there was in the press that we were going to do it in 3D, and we really were considering it. And but I really feel like we've seen a bunch of tests, and we just felt like the conversion just didn't really sit with me that great. I just kind of felt like I don't know, just without it being baked in, it just felt a little weird. I mean, I've seen tests of 300 and some other, they showed me a test of 300 that was pretty awesome, but then, we just felt like it just wasn't really right for the movie now in the end. So we just felt like, it's in eye-numbing 2D, which is also awesome. But, well, I mean, I kind of felt like, the movie doesn't come out till March, and I was going to be like, like I say, I don't think, the point of it was not to tell the story, as you can see. Yeah, sure. No, of course, yeah.
You want to start?
Okie dokie. I played Blondie. She's a really fun character. I know, yes, it is ironic.
I see this irony.
But, I'm sorry, that's me!
I told you never to call me here. I have to take this.
Jenna, why don't you take over?
I play Rocket, and basically, Baby Doll comes to this mental institution, and she meets these characters that she sort of brings into these alternate, realities. And I'm one of the rebel rousers. I sort of help rally the troops, and really, form a really, beautiful bond with Baby Doll. That it's, kind of crazy,
Katie.
Oh, you're not.
Do you want to finish me? Yeah. Yeah, I play Blondie. She is in this whole crazy world as well. She starts off as kind of a follower, but it's fun because I feel like in a lot of the fight sequences, she becomes a total badass, which is why it's kind of funny because it's kind of like just complete difference, as well as the Blondie thing.
I play Baby Doll, who I guess she's the only character whose story you get to see a tiny piece of outside of the asylum, and she sort of comes into the institution, and she sort of has very little time to kind of escape, and she kind of rallies all these girls together and tries to, get them to help her escape and for them to escape as well. And she sort of, it sort of goes into her imagination a lot, which is really cool. Feeling like, being at the center of those kind of fantasies is really cool.
I play Amber, and she's kind of the first one to jump on board with Baby Doll's plan. She's really sweet, and she is extremely loyal to her friends, but she's always there for Baby Doll, and she wants to keep the group together because all she really has is her friends. So.
I play a Polish psychiatrist. Are you yes? Yes, you're here. Psychiatrist named Dr. Gorski in the insane asylum, which is sort of in the world of the 1960s. Kind of I guess Zack's world of the 1960s. There's a certain heightened reality to it, which is what's very cool about it. So the time and place is kind of questionable, and then in the alternate world, I play the choreographer / madame of the brothel, who is Madame Gorski, and she just has a really interesting journey because this is a woman who's clearly been through a lot before, and is sort of in charge of taking care of these girls, and she does it in a very strict, sort of tough love way, but ultimately, probably couldn't understand. There's probably no one who could understand them better than her, and it was such an incredible experience, since you were asking about the characters, to kind of see them all come to life as we were filming, and sort of discovering things, which again is a great luxury that you often don't have, and you end up finding these little gems of the relationships, so it was cool.
Yeah, I think it's interesting if you get a chance to see the footage again, or I think that
I think it's going online on Tuesday.
On Tuesday.
A shorter version of it.
And I think that if you pay close attention, there's a lot of the why of the movie is in there. If you look.
But you know what? I think what's amazing is that all of these women are so multidimensional. You know, they can be strong and they can fight, but they also can be feminine, they can be sexy, and they can be emotional and vulnerable at times. So I think we haven't really seen that yet in these female action films. And I think that's what, for me, was really exciting about the project.
No. Oh no, we just rolled out of bed and you know, they gave us a few shotguns.
Yeah, we trained for like about 3 months before we started filming. We did sort of martial arts and gun training, and me and Abby did like sword fighting, and what else did we do? We also just did a lot of sort of like physical strength training with like scary Navy SEALs, and yeah, it sort of was our life for a whole 3 months, you know. It's like all we did.
Yeah, I mean, because like the idea for me was like, you know, to give these guys a chance just to kind of sort of live like a pro athlete instead of like an actor a little bit, you know, live like
And eat like one too.
yeah,
I mean,
but, you know, just
such strict.
well, you know, just like the sense that, you know, if you're a pro athlete, you wake up like so in a sense, like they felt like at some point like there was no movie to be made, that what they were doing was just every day going to train, you know, go to the gym, do your fight training, go shoot a gun, go to bed, wake up and do it again and again and again. And I think that that's a kind of a cool way to think about it, only in the sense that it's sort of their experiences together, I hope anyway, in that setting, then had an influence on the movie itself when they were actually having to do their scenes. There was this weird leftover from the sweating and the gun shooting.
Yeah, and in an odd way, the 3 months of training, you know, in the stunt gym felt a lot like a mental institution too. Coming in like in wardrobe, and you know, there's like nothing about like, you know, like you just go in and you do it, and it's like, you know, you're pushing past this idea of pain and your, you know, emotional comfort with pain, and you know, you're sort of, you know, you get to a point where you're like crying,
And then you like
get to
take
this
your
other point where-
vitamins.
Yeah, literally, they're like giving us doses, and then we have a 45-minute to have a juice break, and then it's like, you know, but it's amazing, because then once you get past that point of ritual and routine and sort of discomfort, it gets to this amazing point of like exhilaration, and you know, you're totally finding new things inside of you every single day that as a woman, you know, I've never been asked to push myself to such extremes, and so you're finding you know, amazing strengths that, you know, we were able to sort of play directly into the characters and the relationship between all of the characters. So it was quite smart on your part.
I didn't do it on purpose.
This question for everyone, but Zack, I guess, because you obviously had the visuals in your head, but the rest of you are acting in this a little bit of a vacuum, because you can't see these kind of very special effects-driven backgrounds. So today, seeing the footage for the first time, how close was it to what you guys pictured while you were acting?
You can never imagine it to be as good, I think, as it actually is in what we saw today. I mean, there's scenes where I'm like shooting at this dragon, and Zach's like, okay, now you shoot there, and then it's gonna go up there, and you're gonna shoot there, it's gonna go down there and shoot there. Like shooting and screaming at my little balls on the green screen, you know? And just seeing it today, I'm like, God, like, I feel like I could only expect it from Zach, and it just blows me away.
Yeah, and we weren't really in a vacuum. You know, I feel like when we were shooting, because we had the ultimate resource, which was the interior of Zach's mind. You know, and all the drawings, and you know, but it's all there. I mean, like, you know, as much information as we needed, like of like, you know, where to shoot and what to do and what this scene was and what this looked like and how this, you know, referenced. I mean, we had so many things to pull from. You know, I didn't feel like I was in a vacuum necessarily.
And there was also DJ who did special effects, and he came to set with like, you know, a clip of how the scene is supposed to look like, so that really helps, you know, visually while we're shooting.
But it's still today, seeing the footage today, we all knew it was going to look cool, but it looked like 10 million times cooler than I could have ever
I want to watch it
imagined.
like on slow-mo, like that.
Frame by frame.
Oh my gosh.
Carla, this is your second film for Zack. Has it been a different experience
I don't know. You know what was interesting? I don't know what my character's more. I'm gonna let that one go. No. You know what was what I think is actually really different, which I wonder maybe you feel the same way, but is like with Watchmen we had a very specific Bible that was always sort of, especially because being allegiant to that was of the utmost importance to all of us, and so there was something that was sort of predated any of us to kind of refer to. What was cool here is this was also absolutely a Bible and something that had as much value as that did. But because the creator of that particular Bible is actually also the director of the movie, it was cool because there might be something that, Zack is so specific about what he wants and what the vision is, but there might be something where you go, oh, well, is this where you were coming from with this? And he might go, oh, well, I was coming from here, and then, oh, well, maybe let's try this, and yeah, let's try that. And there was a certain kind of, I guess maybe, exploration that was a little bit different because there was less of a pressure of, it was a different...
Yeah, that's absolutely true, because with Watchmen, you just kind of, she says this, so say it,
Yeah.
Where I think with this, we could kind of play around a lot more and have fun with it, I was like, oh no, that sounds better,
She's Polish in Watchmen as well.
It's interesting.
I know, that is funny. I know, but she denied her Polish nature.
Yes, and here she embraces it.
Here she embraces it. See? It all comes full circle.
See, that's Alan didn't want her to be Polish, but I do. So, and I couldn't do that, right? So.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. That's crazy.
Ladies, was it fun getting to wear those exotic outfits? And at the risk of getting you in trouble with the prop department, did you by any chance get to take anything home with you?
Absolutely not. We didn't get to take anything.
I was thinking about just taking it on my own.
Stealing it,
Yeah, I was trying to not say stealing.
But obviously wearing outfits like that sometimes can make it difficult to play out the scenes. Were you able to incorporate the outfits into your performances?
Well, I think they incorporated themselves, it was sort of, we learned how to fight for like 4 months, and then we put the costumes on and we had to learn how to fight again.
I was going to say.
In the costumes, in a little bit of a way of just sort of figuring out how things work and what belts and what straps and what these things are, but...
What hurts.
Yeah, what hurts and what, your comfort level is and how many layers and what...
But I felt tougher in the costume as well. Like, I kind of
Yeah.
found it almost easier to fight in the costume because I felt really... Michael, when he designed the costumes was, obviously they were somewhat revealing, but he also wanted to make sure we were really comfortable, so I felt awesome in my costume, so it kind of was easier to fight in a way.
And it really helped put you into character, and I feel like Michael Wilkinson did a great job throughout all the different fantasy realms that we were in. The costume still translated well, like it's still a part, it still gave the essence of your character. And they were great, like most of the things were either vintage or handmade, all the corsets, most of them were like custom made to fit our bodies, like.
There was some good though, suffer for your art kind of.
Oh, yeah.
Especially because definitely, which is what's great about Michael, because he's just really a genius, and there's certain, he'll work with you on certain things, but there's certain things that you're like, this just works too. Like you had a entire crystal outfit, which it had to be sat on, which is a whole other story. And I had, dancing and corsets and things, and so there were certain moments where it was sort of like buck up because they're so beautiful that you have to kind of, and he has a good sense of humor about that sense.
Yeah, his sense of humor is like, oh, okay, well.
His sense of humor is like...
you don't have to wear it too long.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, we all appreciate you wearing them.
All right, thanks a lot.